Hey guys, what's going on? So I'm down here at the beach right now. I'm gonna do a test with the Mavic Pro to see the footage of the 4K versus the 2.7K versus the 1080. I've heard that the 2.7K footage is the optimal setting to shoot this camera at. So I wanna test all these settings with a couple different color options and then bring it into the editing bay and let's color correct it and see which footage responds the best and which is gonna be the best when you're out shooting. I want to find like the best looking footage on this camera, especially when color grading, because I always do a color grade on all my footage. So let's get this up in the air and let's get some shots and then head back to the editing bay. I don't really want to take off from the sand. I'm going to do a little hand launch and I'm going to do a hand launch and a catch. There's definitely situations where you don't want to just stick this drone on the ground because like sand, it's going to destroy it. It's so low to the ground that all that sand will get in. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put the Mavic up and I'm gonna shoot all three settings with the same image. And guys, in the description below, you can download each of these clips so that you can see it and look at it for yourself. All right, cool, we got some good footage this morning. It's not the prettiest because we don't have blue skies, but it'll give us something to play with once we get in the edit bay. So let's go there now and do some color grading and see how this footage looks between the 4K, the 2.7, and the 1080. So the first thing I'm gonna wanna do with this footage is just color grade it and change my white balance a little bit because right now it's looking a little yellow. So I'm gonna bring up the whites to start. And as you can see on I have the RGB parade up. This will show you the red, greens, and blues and where they are on the spectrum. So there's a lot of reds and there's a lot of greens compared to blues here. So I'm gonna take my highlights and I'm gonna even this out. So as you start to drag your sliders around in the color wheel, you'll start to see that they'll even out. And you wanna bring the reds down and the blues up. So I'm mainly dealing with the highlights, so I'm looking at the top of the waveforms here. And that looks decent. I don't want to push it too far. I don't want to make this image super blue. And then what I'll do is I'll pull down these blacks. So you can see they're getting close to zero, but they're not quite at zero. I'm gonna bring down my mids a tad. All right, so that looks like a decent start. It looks like we still have detail in the sky, in the clouds. There's really nothing overexposing. So let's add a LUT to this. Make it easy. Boom, added it. Let's dial this back a tad. All right, so now this looks a little bit better. I want to bring more blues into it. Here's my thoughts playing with this footage. So when you go in and you're playing with the 4K versus the 2.7K, you do lose obviously a little bit of resolution with the 2.7K, but what I've found is so far, it's not a huge amount on a 4K monitor. You'll probably see a little bit of a difference, but when it comes down to the compression, you see the 4K, you're starting to see lots of compression in that 4K image. So when you bring it down to 2.7K, push the colors around a little more and you're able to and the resolution doesn't look that much different. You notice a huge difference when you drop down to 1080. Things start looking mushy. I think I could go either way, and from what I've found just doing some tests and playing with footage today, it's a little bit easier to push the colors around. So with this shot, the color balance is off, and when I first went and tested the 2.7K, I was able to color correct it pretty fast and then, get a LUT on there and start tweaking it and making it look good. When I started doing that with the 4K, I noticed I was having a little bit more trouble dialing in the colors, but it's not a huge difference. I don't want to say that 2.7K
is the right way to go. I think it's up to you to decide what you think you want to shoot with. I've included a bunch of files for you to play with, so if you don't have your Mavic yet and you haven't been able to test this, go test them out. I've put the download link in the description below. So guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We're headed to Thailand next week, and it's gonna be a ton of fun. We're shooting a ton of videos while we're there. We'll see you on the next one.